Okay, Potter's Journal. It is time for another Potter's Journal book review. I snuck into my neighbor's yard to read by their pool. What better place for a summer read? But this is October. It is too cold to swim in Pennsylvania. It's a shame, pandemic year. I don't think they went out the entire summer. I heard about a doctor's report this week. So here we go, a pioneer potter, Michael Cardew, a real prince of pottery. This book can be read for the social, cultural, political significance of it. But if you're like me, and you're a potter, and I read it just because I like the pots, I would say this book is magic. It reads like a fairy tale. It just draws you in page after page. It starts out when I was a little boy. I knew there were pots. And there were ceramic plates and cold stuff behind glass cabinets, but then there were pots, warm and happy, with designs, patterns, animals, birds, fish, and he knew there were pots when he was just a little boy. His brother told him that the man who made them with his thumbs. He seemed to know better than that at the time, but I guess, yeah, it's true, they were made with his thumbs. And it was a Mr. Fishley, and the family went to see the man and collect and buy the pots. It was a day's journey, an expedition, a walk or bike, 4 miles down the sand to a lighthouse, and then catching a boat across the water, and then rowing or sailing up an estuary. Okay, I believe it was Fremington Creek, and then a short walk up the lane to where Mr. Fishley worked. He was apparently one of the last of his kind, making the slipware, the earthenware, the pots like that. The brown clay, the warm yellow slips that were dipped, I brushed mine. The pots, utilitarian, pitchers, bakers, milk pans, wash pans. Okay. Clome ovens. I would like to find out what that is. Apparently there's something different today than they were then. And I always thought that many of the designs I did were from Pennsylvania, from early American pieces, and I guess the pots in Devon. The history then and or thereabouts went back to colonial, to medieval times, and it was in going going through a downswing during the colonial times here in the States. That in this fairy tale, I'm also getting a history that I hadn't really put two and two together on before. That the pots were imported to the colonial states until we learned how to make them ourselves. That there are so many similarities in the designs and the patterns that I had never really noticed before. Just become aware, I guess, in the past year or 2 years about the English slipware. Okay, mixed in and hidden in this fairy tale is the history of these pots and how their time and era was coming to an end. Nowhere did he say how great he was for saving them, and that was his mission. And technical parts too of the clay in the process also well hidden in this fairy tale. Okay. And there was the struggle of his school. Okay, he was an Oxford graduate. But there was this struggle that he wanted to be a potter, and he was getting a formal education. It seemed the thing to do. After school, the fairy tale continues. Okay, if you are a student of contemporary ceramics, okay, the leech amata thing, he gave that credit as being, okay, the two of them, landing England in 1920 as being a most significant ceramic event, okay, of the century. And not that it wouldn't have happened, contemporary ceramics without it, but but the fairy tale part of it that is going to Leech Pottery and meeting him, again, walked on foot, a lot of traveling on foot, and met Amata first, who was working there at the time. He was walked up to the house, introduced to Leech's wife, eventually, felt that he was put to the test on whether yeah, he was the right person to work there, and he didn't think he passed the test, that he didn't understand their kind of ceramics. But I guess did exhibit, okay, the sensitivities to the craft, and that I don't think Leach was familiar with the pots that had moved Cardew. It was accepted, and he worked there for about a year. I don't like demonstrating for people at events, but apparently they did it in order to promote their craft. And even in a cold, icy hall. And somehow I think that I was tied into his bathing outside in the middle of winter, through a winter. I don't know what the temperature is like there. Reading about his meeting and working with Leach and Hamada and others where there was just magic. I should have used the kick wheel for this, but it's buried under squash and peppers and the pots there. Technical stuff thrown in, like, you know, how the type of wheel you use is going to affect the pots, the type of clay, because I remember using this redware clay once and it being very difficult to throw, but in the end the pieces came out really big, and then in the end again they shrunk up really small. You're just reading the magic side of it. It goes on to looking for a place to set up a pottery, establishing Winchcombe Pottery, his wife, family, Wenford Bridge Pottery. And this being Columbus Day, the other sides of it, okay, not everything I did was right and good. There's that part of it too. Africa seemed like a big misadventure, great for him, not necessarily the thing that they needed. That seemed like a big train wreck, just building and waiting to happen. You can see it come. I still have a couple chapters in the end I haven't gotten to yet. These just came out of the kiln this week. Probably more influenced by the Pennsylvania designs. I made these at a show to, you sometimes get a discount by demonstrating, and to take a wheel in is quite a big thing to do, and realize that, you know, this is something that could be done, a lot of time put into them. When, you know, at a show, there's sometimes nothing to do during the quiet times. I experimented with some glazes first. That was a clear on the redware and the yellow slip. This was a green celadon. This is fired to cone 6. So he somewhere in there had put something about stoneware, and somebody was firing stoneware, but it wasn't technically stoneware because it was not vitrified. So this is a redware that I've taken up to stoneware temperatures so that it is vitrified, and you know, that's always been a question on why that's not done. And then what you do call it. Is it redware, earthenware, slipware, what the different terms mean? Okay, so not a whole lot said there, but I will say the perfect summer read. By a side of a swimming pool on a warm summer day. I will say, though, I found it difficult in one sense to read, in that I constantly found myself just holding the book, deep in thought, stunned, enlightened, understanding, contemplating a chapter, a paragraph, a phrase, or just the passage of a few words. My perceptions of ceramics and so much more changed and seen in a different way. I would like to see the movie. if he were somebody bigger in the overall public's mind. If he wasn't just a potter, which he wasn't, I think it would be done. Okay. Oh, so this is it. Potter's Journal, October 2020, Pittsburgh. Time for a swim. Oh, okay. He swam, he bathed the entire winter. Fremington, Devon, in the UK? Who's from there? What's the temperature like? What would the water be? I do have a double wetsuit on. Okay, I could feel it biting into my skin. Okay, this may help the pottery. I'll certainly know I'm alive after this.